Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Get this set up. All right. Backwards. How is everyone doing this morning? I'm going to give just a minute for folks to join in. I see someone's joined in. Good morning. As we're all kind of getting settled and logging in, I just want to mention, well, first, my name is Valerie, for those of you who are new. And Danielle and I share this class, meaning that we alternate Tuesdays for who's teaching. And we're both, like you, doing this from our homes, not from a studio. And it's a gentle all bodies class. We give modifications. And just know you can go on the Bounty and Soul Facebook page anytime and click under videos and see all the old classes. So if Tuesday is not a good time for you, you can go back anytime. They're also on the website. Both classes are for all levels. Danielle's class, just because she has a little more space, tends to do also some standing poses. I don't do a whole lot of standing poses, just I've got some limitations with space here. So, but also know this is your practice. So as you're at home, invitation to do exactly what we're doing and what I'm doing here, but always feel free to modify, to add in something if you want to add a little flow or more intensity, or to pause, be in child's pose, really honoring what you need and what your body wants today. So, welcome. Also, if you have any requests, feedback, comments, you can drop those in the comments. I can't quite see them from here, but I can see if there is one enough to scoot up. So, let's get started. And let's just start by finding a comfortable seat, whether that's on a bolster, pillow, whatever, on blanket, on your mat, or in a chair. And try to give modifications for chair as we go. So let's inhale through the nostrils and exhale first few breaths through the mouth with an audible sound. So just letting it out, releasing any tension in the jaw, inhaling through the nostrils. Exhale. A couple more times. I got a little tension in my jaw, so I'm going to really stretch it on the exhale. And we're going to do some lion's breath or lion's face today too later, so I'll get some more stretching for the jaw then. And if it feels okay to you to close the eyes either all the way or softly, this invitation to close the eyes as we transition to breathing in through the nostrils. Feeling the breath come into the chest, the ribs, into the belly. And then exhaling also through the nostrils. So if this breath is new to you, it might take a few times. Pausing at the bottom of that inhale and then exhale. So as you're coming into this breath, I invite you to bring your awareness to the body, to the physical body. So just noticing your feet. And if it helps you to just gently bring your hands to parts of the body as we're scanning, that's fine. Or you can just do it with the breath, imagining that you're breathing into those places. So noticing the feet, noticing any tension, noticing where the feet are touching the floor, the mat, noticing the front of the shins, front of the lower legs, noticing the calves. Bringing awareness to the knees, the kneecaps, and the inside and outside of the knees. And if you are aware as you're scanning the body of any tension, pain, or holding, just acknowledging that, witnessing that in the same way that we might hear that from a child or a beloved. Just maybe saying, I hear you. I'm giving you some extra attention today. So noticing the front of the thighs, quadriceps, the back of the thighs and hamstrings, the hips, the lower back, mid back and ribs, belly, the chest, and heart. Noticing the hands. Again, I'm kind of touching each place to bring attention to it, but you can absolutely do this just with the breath and being totally still. Sometimes I like the extra grounding that comes from this gentle touch to the body. And noticing the neck and tops of the shoulders, front of the neck and back of the neck. If you are using your hands, you could give a little massage here. Noticing the jaw, the face. This might be a time of year with all these crazy weather changes of your sinuses talking to you. Noticing the crown and the head. If there's any tension here. And then releasing. And inhaling as you exhale, releasing the chin towards the chest. Drawing the left ear to left shoulder, or right ear to right shoulder. Coming back through center and through the left. And coming back to center. So I'm not playing music, you guys. I noticed that sometimes it was cutting off the sound because of copyright issues with music. So if you like having music, you could always have some just on in the background. So inhaling, shoulders up, exhaling down and around, and change directions. Inhale up and forward. Yeah. You guys know me, sometimes I get a little turned around on my direction, so just make sure whatever you do that you are going in both directions, whether that's left, right, or backwards, forwards. And inhale the shoulders up. Exhale. Let's do 4 more of those. Inhale. Nice. All right. So let's move right on into cat-cow. For those of you that are going to be on your mat, you can go ahead and move on into tabletop. I'll join you there in a minute. Folks that are seated in a chair, if you have a flat chair, that's going to work best to help keep you stabilized. If you're on a sofa or a cushy chair, if it feels safe to scoot up to the edge so that you have a little more support and not falling back, come to that edge. So seated folks, your cat-cow is inhale forward. Exhale, navel towards the spine, chin towards the chest. And then folks that are on the floor, already be doing it. My stuff. All right, so cat-cow on your mat. So inhale, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, chin towards the chest, navel towards the spine. So just finding your pace in terms of the speed and of the kind of depth of this spine movement, right? So maybe you want it to be really slow and tiny. Maybe it's a faster movement, a faster breath. So that is up to you. And inhale as you exhale, coming down into child's pose before we bring a little bit of flow to this. So knees are spread wide or together. Arms are stretched out in front of you, head on the floor. Or you could cross your arms here. And seated folks, your feet are spread wide toward the outer edges of your chair. You can cross the arm, or you can keep the knees together, cross the arms and rest the head, or you can bring the hands down towards the ankles or calves and fold forward. Staying in child's pose for 3 to 5 breaths. I'm just coming up to get my hair out of the way. So 3 to 5 breaths or more in child's pose. All right, so we're going to come through a little flow here, and I'm going to try to get some modifications moving in different directions. But so our basic flow here, so from tabletop, inhale, and as we exhale, a couple of options. You can have this flow by going through, staying in tabletop, coming through, and then down to child's pose. So we can all do this one first together, basically. Inhale up. Exhale, bringing the hands to the lower back for just a baby camel. And then exhale, coming back down to child's pose. Back to tabletop. Pressing down and coming through. So seated, folks. And then coming back up. Hands on lower back, baby camel. So keeping on with this flow, for those of you on the floor, if you want to add a little to it, you could come into downward facing dog in the middle of the flow. Seated folks, you're going to be doing the same thing. So seated folks, folks on the floor, just keep moving through that flow. If you were seated, so you're going to do your cat-cow, come here, come through, inhale up, exhale, hands on the lower back or hold them to the sides of your chair, and looking up, creating space in the neck, the chest, right? So finding your flow, and don't worry if you're like, Valerie, you show me too many different things. That's okay. Just working, knowing the main idea is flowing through your cat-cow, child's pose, to baby camel. Option to add that downward facing dog into your flow for those of you that are here. So if you wanted to add your downward facing dog, lowering down to child's pose, inhaling up. Exhale, hands to lower back, baby camel, back to child's pose. All right, so we'll do one more time, whichever version of this flow that was working for you. And again, don't worry if it's not exactly in time with what I'm doing, because I've showed 3 different versions, right? And wherever you are, coming back to child's pose. Right where we started, 3 to 5 breaths. And actually, let's do a little stretch here. A side stretch. Folks, if you're in your chair, you're just going to move towards one side of the legs. Folks that are on the floor here, inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to walk the hands to the left. And then walk that right fingertips any bit forward. Draw the right hip back. So we're stretching all on the right side of the body. Inhale to center. Exhale, walking the hands to the right. Once you get as far as you can to the right, back up a little so you can maybe see my fingers. You're going to take those left fingertips and walk them any bit further. You guys let me know if you have any problems hearing me. So left fingertips reaching out, left hip drawing back. And coming back to center. And then slowly coming back up. All right, so we're going to come into a low lunge on the floor. Folks, if you're seated, you can stand up, come in behind your chair, and you'll come into a warrior one. So we're going to bring right knee forward. Focus on the floor, that right knee's coming forward. Again, if you want to come through a downward facing dog to get here, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to start facing forward and then turn to the side. All right, so yeah, let's start in a low lunge with hands on either side. Again, if you're in a chair, you're going to stand up, be behind your chair, hands on the chair or back of your piece of furniture, right knee forward, left leg back. And then option to bring the hands up to the knee. And then option to bring hands up into the air. So this is where we're going to bring our lion's face, our lion's breath in, okay? So that means we're going to inhale. As we exhale, I'll just demo first. As we exhale, we're going to bend the arms, our goalpost arms, and then stick the tongue out and cross the eyes. Okay, so inhale up, exhale. One more. Nice. And then release the arms back behind you. Interlace the arms and inhale, looking up. So we're coming back to that chest opening and throat opening like we did in our baby camel. And then releasing the hands to the floor. I'm going to come sideways here just to give you a better angle of this. So we've got hands on either side of that front leg. Option to lift the back leg, or you can keep that back leg on the floor. Ground down through the left palm, lifting up to twist. Seated folks, you can come into a seated twist here, would be one option. And then lowering back down, hands on the inside of that front leg. I'll show you from here. So I've got my right shoulder hugging into my right knee for lizard pose. So allowing that left hip to draw forward. And then stepping back. Actually, let's do an opposite stretch here to balance that out a little before we do the other side. So right foot back. And then gentle rocking back and forth. And this is how you find out if your calves are tight. Mine are surprisingly tight today. So rocking back and forth. And lower the right hip a little. All right, so let's come back to, I'm losing my ponytail here. How's everybody doing out there? All right, so let's come back to tabletop. Remember, we're going to come into low lunge again. If you want to start in downward facing dog, you can, or start here in tabletop. And you're bringing that leg up. I can come in one swoop or 10, right? So we're starting in our low lunge here. Hands on either side. You can have support under the knee. Remember, if you're standing, you have your hands on the back of your chair. Left foot forward, right foot back. And then option to come up onto both hands onto one knee. If you're feeling balanced there, option to lift the arms. And we're going to come back to our lion's breath, lion's face. We'll do 5 of those. Okay, this is great for the throat. It's great for opening the sinuses, great for the jaw. Inhale. 4 more. 3 more. Last one. Nice. Now hold while you squeeze together there. Beautiful, you guys. Inhale up. Exhale. Interlace behind the back again. Squeezing shoulder blades together. Inhale, look up. Opening the throat and chest. Right? Opening here. And then bringing hands back up. Nice. All right, so we're going to come into the Inside here, squeezing left shoulder towards left knee. And then we want to have our stretch out on that side. So stretching left foot back, rocking back and forth. I'm going to do a little time check. Okay. Oh, we didn't do our twist on this side, you guys. Okay. All right, so we forgot our twist on this side. We don't want to be lopsided. So we're going to come back to that low lunge, left foot forward, right leg is back. Option to lift that back knee, or the knee could stay on the floor as we open up and twist. And lowering back down. Let's come back to cat-cow for a little reset. Inhaling and exhaling. All right, so we are going to come down onto the belly. So go ahead and come onto the belly if you're going to be on your mat. If you are in a chair and not want to come onto your belly, go ahead and come standing next to a wall with your right shoulder and right hip facing a wall. So my imaginary wall here, if this was a wall, you're going to be maybe about a foot away from the wall, but you're standing. And then you're going to bring your right arm behind you, right palm is pressing into the wall. So you would be like this if this was the side. So we're stretching the chest, pectoralis muscles, stretching all along here. Folks on the floor, we're going to do the same thing on the floor. Trying to find the best angle that you guys can actually see, which I think will be here. All right, so you are on your belly. That right arm is extended out. Your head turns in the opposite direction. You're going to walk those right fingertips out as you come on to your right side. I'm going to demo this from both sides. The demo from right in front of the camera, but we'll do it this way. So my right arm is out to the side. My head's turned to the left. I'm walking the right fingertips away from the body. And now I'm on my right side. So I'm on my right side. My right arm is extended out behind me. If you are at the wall, you're creating the same idea, the same stretch, but against the wall. So see if you can relax the head. The head should relax onto the floor. You don't want to have it be hanging out here, stressing your neck. And you can even bring that top foot behind you if you like, or keep it here. And find a couple more breaths here. And then bringing the belly back to the mat. So now we're going to extend the right arm out in front of you, okay? So right arm is in front. Folks, if you're at the wall, you can hold on, press it, hold against the wall, or hold onto a piece of furniture. We're going to come into a quadricep stretch here. So right arm is out in front of you. The head is resting on the mat. We're going to reach back for the top of the left foot. And you want to try to keep the knee towards center. So this could be a great place to use a strap, a tie, a towel, a blanket, a resistance band, anything that would help you connect the foot to the hand if that's not happening. And if you don't have any of those things, just bend back as far as you can to feel that stretch in the quads. If you like, you can press the right palm into the floor and lift the upper body. And breathe. So folks, if you are standing for this, you're doing the same thing. You're Keeping your balance by holding onto something with the right hand, and you're maybe reaching up behind you for that foot, but if you can't reach it, no problem. Just bend it back to where your comfort level is, where your edge is. And then releasing that foot, we're going to cross the arms and windshield wiper from side to side. Folks, if you're standing, you could just shake it out, kick one foot in one direction and the other. And make X's maybe. All right, so now we're coming back to the shoulder stretch first. So we're going to extend the left arm out. I'm going to switch sides. All right, so whether you're on the wall or on the floor, you're extending that left arm out to the side. There it is. Inhaling, and as you exhale, walking the left fingertips away from the body. Coming on to that left side. I'm going to peek into the chat box. I just want to make sure everybody's understanding this because I know it might be a little bit hard to see. So stay where you are if you got it. If not, let me see if you can see a little better here. Not really, huh? So that arm is extended out to the side, walking the fingertips away, coming on to the side. I don't think y'all can really see me much better there, right? All right, so sticking with that stretch wherever you are. You're on the left side or your left arms extended against the wall. Maybe that top foot goes behind you. And then coming back onto the belly, extending the left arm up this time. So the left arm goes straight up in front of you. Releasing the head to the floor. So maybe if you don't have something to use as a strap and your hand's not going back all the way, you could just be here, right? Or maybe it's available to reach back to grab your toes, top of the foot. You want to make sure if you're doing this though, make sure that you're not allowing your knee to tweak outward. You want the knee to stay close to the midline of the body. You don't want to tweak your knee. And breathe. Make sure to breathe always, right? So another 3 to 5 breaths here. No worries if your hand's not reaching, right? You can use a strap or you can bend. Option to press the left palm into the floor, lifting the upper body. Nice, you guys. And then slowly release, really slowly. You don't want to send that leg flying back to the floor. And then let's reset again. So turn the head to one side, bend the knees. Allow the knees to fall from one side to the other. Crisscross. And if you are standing, come back to your seat now. Go ahead and find your seat. Spread the knees wide. Spread the feet to the outer edges. And just let your knees fall from one side to the other. All right, we're going to come into Sphinx pose. We're doing a lot of chest openers, heart openers, throat openers today, in case you haven't noticed, right? Energetically, just structurally, we often are curved forward, right? So it's nice to have that counter movement. Let's go ahead and get in the pose before I keep talking. So you're going to have your elbows directly beneath the shoulders. Forearms and palms are pressed into the floor. Walk the feet away from the body a bit. Tops of the feet are pressing into the floor. And then we're going to lift the chest, lift the chin, feeling the belly, releasing to the floor, releasing to the earth. You can always release the head forward if it's feeling like too much for your neck, and you can come out sooner and come back up is another option. Really see if you can distribute the weight, not just into the elbows and shoulders, but press the forearms into the floor. Press the palms into the floor. Yeah. So I was saying before, like part of this is countering our structural closing off. And then there's the energetics, right? Of an open chest means an open heart. An open throat means a clear path to speak our truth, to say what needs to be said. And pausing, to make sure things do need to be said too. But oftentimes things get stuck, right? And lower down. Let's reset. Maybe you've already lowered down a couple of times and come back up. We're going to come back up one more time. And then option to come into crocodile. So crocodile, you're going to spread the arms out. They're at a slight angle, maybe at the corners of your mat. Pressing the palms into the floor. Lifting the chest. Allowing some ease in the lower back and belly. Oh, I see a comment, I think. I'll look at that in just a second. And lower back down. Nice, you guys. So come on over onto your back and draw both knees into the chest and rock side to side. I'm going to look in here. Oh, it's Danielle. She's saying hello. Danielle teaches the class on other days. If you haven't checked out her class, be sure to do that. And do a little time check, you guys. Okay. So on your back, seated folks. Again, you can have feet spread wide, gently rocking the knees from side to side. Those of us on our mat, any adjustments that you need to make, gently rocking from side to side. Nice. And releasing the feet to the floor. Make sure I don't knock anything over. All right, let's come into figure 4. So right ankle on the left knee. So figure 4, you guys, is also sometimes called a modified pigeon or a sleeping pigeon. If you prefer pigeon to this and you're familiar with it, absolutely go flip on over and come into pigeon. This is giving you a very similar stretch. So pausing here, bringing the right hand to the crease of the right hip, gently pressing the right hip forward, flexing the right foot, and then inhaling, and as you exhale, we're going to needle the hands through that space we've created, interlacing behind the knee or in front of the knee. But just make sure that the head can stay on the floor. If to get up here, your head has to come up and you're straining in your neck and shoulders, go ahead and lower the head back and just come behind the knee. Right? We want the shoulders to be relaxed. We want the neck to be relaxed. And come back to the breath, maybe 3 breaths here. Beautiful. And maybe some people really like to extend the legs straight here. So if you'd like that, maybe just take a minute to do that. You can extend that left leg up, maybe pointing and flexing the foot, some ankle rolls, snap, crackle, pop. And then releasing the left foot to the floor. We're going to keep that right ankle just where it is. Right ankle there. So I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you seated folks that you would be doing a very similar thing. You have your right ankle on your left knee while you're seated, then bring the hands to the lap, palms facing up, and you're going to fold forward. Here, seated folks, you're going to cross your right leg over your left and twist to the right. Those of us on the floor, inhale here, arms extended to the side. Inhale, and as you exhale, that right foot comes to the floor. So you're feeling that stretch along the right hip, from the hip down along the IT band towards the knee. If you want to extend that stretch up the right side of the body, bring your left hand to hold on to the right ankle, and then extend the right arm overhead. So just to repeat that stretch, left hand's holding on to the right ankle, right arm overhead. If you're seated, you have your right leg crossed over your left, and you're twisting to the right. And seated folks, if you are ever unsure what to be doing, you can pop in the comments, but also just coming back to the breath anytime, coming back to that inhaling through the nostrils, all the way into the belly, exhaling through the nostrils. That's a great place to pause anytime if you're unsure of the modification. And slowly coming back up. Let's reset a little, walking the feet to the outer edges of the mat. Extend the arms out to the side and just slowly moving from one side to the other. And then coming back to center. Let's bring the left ankle this time. I'm going to switch sides, because I think that gives you a little better view. So left ankle on the right knee. Seated folks, same thing. You're bringing left ankle to rest on the right knee, or you could cross at the ankles if that is uncomfortable for your hips. Pause again, bringing the left hand to push gently that left hip out. Inhale, and as you exhale, drawing that right knee into the chest. This might feel really different from the other side. Might be much tighter, much looser on one side than the other, but wherever you are, make sure the head is relaxed, the neck is relaxed. You could tuck a little blanket. I wouldn't put like a whole pillow necessarily under your head here, but if you feel like you do need a little lift, you could stick a little fold blanket, like something like that, under your head. If you like that full extension of the leg, you could lift the right leg up, pointing and flexing. And then slowly releasing the left foot to the floor. That right ankle is going to stay right there. Left ankle is going to stay on the right knee, extending the arms out to the side. Inhale, and as you exhale, lowering the left foot to the floor. If you're seated, you're crossing the left leg over the right and twisting to the left. If you're on the floor, you could stay here or bring the right hand to the left ankle and then extend the left arm overhead. So if you're here, allowing that left hip to extend away from the shoulder and also at the same time down towards the mat. So you're lengthening all along the side body. In addition to that stretch that's happening from the hip down to the knee, you're also stretching from the hip up towards the rib, between each of the ribs. So that opening, that creating space there creates more space in our abdominal area, so more space for breathing, for digestion, creating that space between each of the ribs. It creates more space for the lungs. Creating space, I think is such a gift of our yoga practice, right? Because with more space comes more capacity, right? More capacity really for all the things. Because how do we feel? If we feel cramped, if we feel like we don't have space, it's hard to breathe. It might increase anxiety. Hard to digest our food. Might sort of pressurize emotions. But where there's there's just so much more capacity, right? And the breath is such a big tool for that. And then slowly coming out, a little reset again, bringing the feet to the outer edges of the mat. I am going to check time. Yeah, okay, we're right at the end. So taking the next few moments here for anything that feels good to you. So if you like to have bridge as part of your regular practice, you could come into a bridge here. You could come into another twist. You could come into a happy baby. You could just pause with the knees resting in on one another. Really your choice. I'm going to turn the lights off. So any other movement that you feel like you need as we're coming into Shavasana. And coming back, I just want to dim lights. So coming into a comfortable position. Some folks might like to put a little something under your knees, a bolster, a pillow, a rolled up blanket, or towel. Might feel nice. You could cover yourself. And let's take a few breaths before we just come into complete stillness and silence. A few breaths like we did at the beginning of class, of breathing in through the nostrils and out through the mouth at the side. So maybe again, touching the jaw, opening the jaw, moving it from side to side. And then scanning the body again, from the feet to the calves and shins. Noticing the knees, the front of the thighs, and backs of the thighs, the hips, lower back, belly, mid-back and ribs, fingers and elbows, just allowing your whole body to feel heavy, to feel the support of the mat and the floor and even the earth beneath that. And just allowing on the exhale anything that needs to release into the earth, knowing the earth can absorb that. And then just releasing any intentional scanning of the body, releasing any thoughts. Just allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself this integration, even in a gentle class. We are different than in the beginning of class. We've moved, we've breathed, we've expanded, created space and capacity. We've oxygenated cells. We've moved lymph and blood. So giving this time to integrate all that. Maybe thinking about if there's a place in your physical body or a place in your energetic or spiritual body or in relationships. Is there a place that needs space? It could use space, that spaciousness. And if the answer is yes, then maybe just inviting space, saying in your own mind, I call in space to this place, to this relationship, to decision process I'm making, to this place in my body that is tight. I'm calling in space. I'm calling in space with the breath. I'm asking for this. I'm open to receiving it. Your words are the best words. So whatever resonates. And then maybe invitation, if you have time to stay in Shavasana longer and you want to, feel free to do that. I've got to end this little class and move into some other things, but if you've got time, feel free to stay. If you're needing to come out too, just finding some gentle movement with fingers and toes, some fluid movement. Maybe extending the arms overhead, reaching heels out in front of you, fingertips behind you. And then on an exhale, coming onto one side. I do miss having music sometimes, you guys. It can be nice to have the silence though too. And of course I miss your faces. Alright, so let's press the hand down into the floor, coming up to seated. And if you're like me, and if you have pets, you might be noticing pet hairs. Alright, so coming back to seated, whatever way is comfortable for you. And then bringing the hands to heart center. So let's pause with the hands actually on the heart for a moment. And then bringing the hands to heart center, pressing the thumbs into the sternum, the palms towards one another. And then just an invitation to pause in gratitude for the space and capacity even that we are creating through our practice, through our intention, through our breath. Gratitude to Bounty and Soul for this class, to each of you for showing up, and for the markets, to everyone, the volunteers, staff, folks in the stores, truck drivers, farmers, all the folks that make the market possible. Today's market's from 11 to 1. Hope that some of you can join us there. And it's in that spirit of gratitude that the light in me honors and sees the light in each of you. Namaste. And I hope that each of you have a wonderful week ahead. Again, remember, you can come back to the videos on Facebook. There's a video tab, I think, is where you can access those. And then I believe they're also on our website. So live on Tuesdays, and you can join Danielle and I recorded anytime. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, you guys. Oh, I'm cutting out. All right. See you next time.